Hello and welcome to this special live edition of WolfePak Wednesdays. Today we're going to introduce a new WolfePak product called WolfePak Intelligence. But before we get started, I wanted to cover a couple of housekeeping items. First, this session is being recorded and we're going to send out a link to the recording to everyone tomorrow. So please be on the lookout for that email. Second, we are going to answer your questions at the end of the webinar. So you can submit your questions at any time during the webinar or the live demo by going to the Q&A section on the lower right-hand side of your screen and just entering in your question. And then finally, we're going to have a few audience polling questions today. The polls should pop up on your screen, and we ask that everyone please participate in the polling. Also, at the end of the webinar, we're going to conduct an exit survey to get your feedback. Please provide your feedback. It is absolutely critical in helping us improve future online and in-person events. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Your speakers today are Brent Rhymes, which is me, your host. I'm CEO of WolfePak Software, and joining me is a familiar face, Ryan Lailey, WolfePak's Chief Operating Officer. Ryan, welcome back to WolfePak Wednesdays. Would you like to tell everybody howdy?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us.
Very good. So we have a pretty simple agenda today. I have just a couple of slides to set up the live demo of WolfePak Intelligence. The vast majority of today's webinar will be a live demonstration. And then we're going to wrap things up with a Q&A session where I'll get to answer all of the easy questions and Ryan will get to answer all of your hard questions that you submit through the Q&A dialog box. All right, well with that, let's meet WolfePak Intelligence. I wanted to start out by discussing why we built WolfePak Intelligence. So since joining WolfePak, which believe it or not has been 4 years ago, back in 2017, over the years I've received a lot of feedback from many of you on the call about the need of getting information out of their WolfePak software system easier. You've expressed that you want to be able to have the ability to create and modify your own reports, your own graphs, build dashboards, and you want all of that to be driven by live WolfePak data without having to involve WolfePak support. You've also expressed the desire you've also expressed that WolfePak reports that are provided with the product look a bit dated. In fact, I've had a couple of folks say that they look like they're from the 1990s and that you want to provide your investors, managers, and partners with modern-looking reports. And in some cases, you've asked for reports that were impossible for us to deliver using WolfePak's native reporting engine. In fact, in one extreme case, we have an oil and gas operator that had to handcraft a report every month in Excel that took that person the better part of a day to do because we simply could not deliver the report they needed using the native WolfePak reporting module. That person, incidentally, has signed on as an early adopter of WolfePak Intelligence, and we were able to deliver that report in about 15 minutes using WPI. It's no secret, I don't need to tell you what's driving the need for better reporting in today's environment. Investors, managers, partners all want the ability to slice and dice data, to get new metrics and new views on the performance of your business and on their investments. And that is why we built WolfePak Intelligence. So before we go on to describing what WolfePak Intelligence is, we wanted to do our first poll. We'd like to find out how many reports you typically run and prepare per week, less than 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, 15 to 20, or more than 20. And we'll leave that poll open just for a few moments for everybody to respond. Okay, thank you very much. So let's take a moment just to define what WolfePak Intelligence is. WolfePak Intelligence is a fully featured business intelligence tool for WolfePak oil and gas accounting data. The product allows you to create your own reports, your own graphs, and your own dashboards. We ship with a pre-built library of over 25 reports that you can either use out of the box or you can customize those reports to fit your own business. All of the reports are delivered through a modern, easy-to-use web-based interface. All that you need to access WolfePak Intelligence is a web browser and an internet connection. WolfePak Intelligence, or WPI, is the result of over 2 years of intensive investment by WolfePak. We have several early adopter customers that have been running WolfePak Intelligence since this past spring in their production environment, but today is the official release of WolfePak Intelligence to the WolfePak community. And one thing to note about the pre-built reports, we are updating that library all the time. So if you're a WolfePak Intelligence subscriber, you're going to see we're adding to the number of pre-built reports each week. So you'll continue to see that library of pre-built reports grow. Okay, but the best way to see WolfePak Intelligence is to see a demo. But before we go there, let's do one more poll before the demo. We'd like to know, on average, how much time you spend running, maintaining, checking, exporting, formatting one WolfePak report. And really what we're looking for is the most complex report that you do within WolfePak. How long does that process take? Several options. We got a little granular on the time here, but 5 minutes, 6 to 15 minutes, 16 to 30 minutes. I'll let you read through the different time slots. Hopefully not taking more than 8 hours. All right, very good. Well, with that, Mr. Lailey, I will turn things over to you for the live demo of WolfePak Intelligence.
Fantastic. Thanks, Brent. Well, I'm going to introduce everyone to the new WolfePak Intelligence. We're really excited about launching this. As Brent mentioned, it's been a lot of work over the last couple of years to get to this point, and my team has done just a fantastic job on bringing this to the market. There's a lot of work that's gone on in the background that you don't see and able to make WolfePak Intelligence as flexible as you're going to see it is. Lots of database work, lots of different work to do within the database to enable custom reporting. But the user interface is really the important aspect that all of our customers will see. WolfePak Intelligence is, you log into it through a URL. So there's no server to RDP into or anything like that. You just hit a URL, you get a username and your password, and then you can log into your environment. So it's very easy to do. Any browser can be used. You can even log in on a tablet if you want to log in on a tablet as well. Once you log in, you get brought into the main screen, which is your reports, list of reports. On the left-hand side are showing all of your different dashboards that you would have. The one that we'll start off with is the one that most of our customers use quite a bit, which is the View Trend Report. So you'll see it's quite a bit more modern looking. It's also interactive, so you can sort by account or filter by account to redo this. You can see all of your data, your graphs along the side. They're also interactive, so if you see something on a graph that you want to drill into, you just click on that point and it will actually filter it back down to that section or that data point. If you see blue numbers or a blue link, those are clickable, which is a drill down. So say I wanted to go into this number here to see what makes up that number. Right away, it creates a drill down report, shows you all of the different transactions that make up that number. So it's very interactive, very speedy to actually drill into the data and to bring it forward. We also have more modern capabilities in WolfePak Intelligence, like forecasting. So you see down here, it's showing me my plots of this account for the last, since 4 years of all of the different amounts. And then it takes all of that information and it will forecast out what your forecasted amounts will be. So it'll give you an upper bound, a lower bound, and a forecasted value based on a confidence level. So this one is set at 80%. So it's 80% confident that you will be at around, in this case, negative 5.9 million. So this forecasting capability is available for any line graph that you want. So it can be a production, it can be financial, really anything that has lots of different data points that the system can analyze and give you a forecast going forward. It's also configurable for how long you want to forecast out. So in this case, I've got it forecasting out for 3 months. I could set that to 6 months or a year or 2 years, whatever it is that you want to do. Okay, so that's the main view trend that you typically use in the ERP system that you can use in WolfePak Intelligence. Along the side, you'll see a whole bunch of different filters or folders. As Brent mentioned, we have a lot of canned reports. We've grouped them into different sections or different areas that you might be interested in. So AP, for example, division of interest, GL reports, purchase order reports if you're using purchase orders, and ticket reports if you're using tickets. As Brent mentioned as well, we're constantly adding to this. A lot of feedback from customers on reports that they would like to see or that they have been wanting for years. We've been working on as a team, and once we've done those reports, we share them out, and anybody in WolfePak Intelligence can then start using them. As you go through each one of these reports, you just click on the report that you want to look at. So there's some simple ones like account listing. It just shows you all of your different accounts that are available. Cash detail, cash account detail report. So it shows you all your cash accounts and what your balances are. Again, a clickable link is blue. So I can click into that and see all of the different deposits that happen, for example. Cash source. Again, just different types of filters that are on here. Within here, you can also filter through it. So if I go into my check history, I can see all of my check history accounts, and you can see that it's loading very fast. That's 15,000 records that got loaded in about a second. So it's an incredibly fast system for bringing back the data. If I want to drill down or to filter by a specific lease, for example, all I do is I enter in the lease, hit filter, and it will sort that by that lease number down. Every report that's in WolfePak Intelligence can be exported. So I can download this as a CSV, as a PDF, or an Excel file. So wherever you see a report, you can click on the 3 dots and then download into the format that you would like. In addition, we have the capability in what's called Report Manager, where I can actually set up a schedule of this report. So say I want my check history report to go out, and I want to send that by Excel. I want to send that Excel, and I want to send it to certain people. I want that to go out every week, every day, on Tuesday and Wednesday, whatever it is. I set that schedule, and it'll automatically email that Excel file out to the recipients on the schedule that you have set up. And that can be done on any one of these reports as well. Okay. For the DOI, a lot of our customers do a lot of DOI reporting. It's a very important aspect of oil and gas accounting. So you can see all of the DOIs that are set up in the system, what your percentages are, your deleted interest, things like that. Again, I can search it by owner account or the sub account or a lease number. Deck master listing, same type of a thing, but it'll show you what your deck numbers are. Division of interest listing, all of the different division interests for each one of those decks and those leases. And again, clickable, blue, I can drill into that revenue percentage if I want to. And it gives me the suspense code and the extra suspense, things like that. We also have some really cool technology as part of this that really is the sky's the limit on it. So we created this report, which is a lease dashboard report. So if you're bringing in the lat longs of your lease locations, it'll actually plot it on a map for you, so you can go in and see where all your leases are. It'll show you all of your division of interest information, and I can just click on a lease and it will actually sort that for that division of interest and all of the DOIs for that location. And again, I can export this out via Excel or a PDF or whatever you'd like to do. So very easy to find your DOIs, very easy to export them out. And also, you can see I just brought back 10,000 DOIs in like a second. You can add in things like graphing. So this is a property history report that's showing what the 100% and the nets are, all of the property history information, the amounts. Again, I can interact with any one of these graphs. So if I want to see what this 75% is made up of, I just click on it. If I want to see what that one is, I click on that, and it's going to constantly drill down in real time all of that data. Brent had mentioned that there are some reports that customers have been asking for quite some time. One of them is on the income statement, and if you had multiple companies set up in WolfePak, and being able to do a combined income statement or a combined LOS or any of those types of reports. So if you look at something like an income statement, I can see my income statement for this company, but I can also do it across companies. So I can include multiple company codes into any one of these reports as long as I have access to it. Now, say you have this report and this is a canned report and you say, that looks pretty good, but I actually want to combine them and I want to see what the total is. On any one of these reports, you can duplicate them to become your own. And once you duplicate them to become your own, you can edit them. When you edit them, you can actually do anything that you want. So one of the other things that we've heard quite a bit is, I don't like the name of a column. I want to call it something else. So you can actually come in here and edit any one of these columns and call it whatever you want. It does not affect the information that's in the WolfePak ERP. But say I don't want to split this out by my company codes. I want to actually combine them together. I can just turn off the company code filter, and it now has brought all of that information into one combined consolidated income statement. Again, I can split it back out again, whatever you'd like to do. Once I apply that, I now have that as my own statement, income statement, and it's owned by me. And I can share this out to my users. I can schedule that report that I mentioned, really do anything that you'd like. Now, as you go through each one of these, maybe there's a report that doesn't show up yet and you want to create your own. It's really easy to create a new report. So all you do is you create a new dashboard, you call it whatever you'd like to do, create that dashboard, and I'm now starting to create my own report. I select the data. Maybe I want to start with account. I'm going to go into advanced configuration. Just gives me a full screen view of creating a report. Up at the top here, I can decide what kind of report I want to do. Maybe I want to do a line chart, or I want to do a bar chart, or a table, a map, really anything that you'd like to do. But I'll start with a pivot, for example. And, I just come through here and I pick which fields I want to include in the report. So the sky's the limit on, what kind of a report you want to create. Maybe I want the accounts and the sub-accounts all together. I want their names so that, people that maybe don't understand or don't know what the account codes are, they go everything by name. I can add the names in. I can add quantities, really any of the fields that are available, I can add and bring them together. An example of this is to create an LOS statement. So this is an example of an LOS. Okay, so I've got all of my fields. I've got my amounts. I've got my quantity, my average prices, things like that. I can do that as 100%, or I can do an internal LOS statement. That gives me that as well. And then I can also do the same type of a thing where I can sort this by the actual lease number. And there's my LOS report for that lease, and I can export that out. Checkstep report is another one that we get lots of questions on. So you can do all your check history, Checkstep reporting. I can do, based on the product. So who the purchaser was, for example, what gas and oil was sold, what price it was at, things like that. And this was created through WPI. And then you can add in things like in this PO dashboard, total amounts, what my POs are. I can see the graph by the sub account, which PO's got a sub account if you're using a PO, but this can be done really on anything. And then I can add what's called a pulse. So I can add an actual alert that says, hey, if the total amount is above a certain amount, I would like to email certain people that the value has met my threshold, or is above, or is below, is equal to, whatever it is, and you can get alerts into your email that something has happened on those numbers. Those will show up in the pulse once you've created those up, and you can edit them and bring those together whenever you'd like. So Brent, that's the overview of WolfePak Intelligence. I'll stop there and see if there's anything that you would like me to go into more detail on, or touch on anything else.
No, I think, Ron, we showed them the reports that we simply can't deliver with the built-in reporting system within WolfePak ERP. That was the big thing I wanted to make sure we emphasized.
Yeah, for sure. And really the ability to create your own report and bring this data together. I'll just sort of mention that in when we get report requests from customers in WolfePak ERP, being able to create a report with fields that aren't currently on a report in WolfePak ERP is a development exercise. So we have to develop it in the actual application, test it, release it. Usually you have to wait for the next release to get it. With WolfePak Intelligence, you just create the report that you want, save it, and you're off to the races.
Yeah, and I know we're going to cover this in the Q&A because I've seen lots of questions come in around this. I mean, we absolutely are here to help you if you want to create a new report. But the difference is with WolfePak Intelligence, you really have the tools to do it yourself. But we can also help. We can have one of our pro services folks train you on how to do it and walk you through setting up your first WPI report. And then if there is a report that's maybe more complex that you really just want us to do, we're happy to do that, especially if we think it's a report that we can add to the library. And that's, quite frankly, how the library is growing so quickly. Is we're getting these requests in from the early adopters, and some of them we can walk them through how to create their own reports, and after a while they're off to the races creating their own. And in other cases, we have to create it for them. And in many cases, it's a report we think would be of common interest to the WolfePak community, and this gives us the platform to publish that. So, we see the number of pre-built reports exploding over time.
Correct. This is a great example of one that came in from a client that didn't exist. They wanted this type of a report that had the lease names and the production dates and all that type of stuff on it, and we expanded it out. So it wasn't just an Excel spreadsheet or a table that we delivered. We added in the interactive graphs. We added in the ability for them to drill down a lot faster, and it was very quick for us to do this, but added a lot of value in terms of the visualization. Yeah,
and absolutely. And I think one other thing just to note is when you're going into WolfePak Intelligence and you're building your own reports, for those of our customers that have used earlier technologies that the company offered, like open access, for example, they had to do a lot of research to translate field names and to join tables together to get the information. We've done all that as WolfePak Intelligence. We actually have built a fully featured data warehouse or data lake, whatever the latest terminology is for that. But we invested quite a bit of money to do that. And we've denormalized the databases, which means that they're much easier to consume from a reporting perspective, and replaced the somewhat esoteric field names that exist in the transaction database with easy-to-use field names. And that's one of the reasons that we're confident. It's one of the reasons the early adopter customers have been so successful in creating their own reports and dashboards.
Absolutely.
Okay. Anything else that we want to share today? Or does that wrap us up, Ryan?
Yeah, I think that wraps it up. I mean, the whole intent and one of our goals in WolfePak Intelligence was to make it easy, to make it intuitive, to make it very flexible, and by doing that, it makes the demos very easy to do. So, as we set up clients, we do a training session, show them the basics on how to do everything, and then answer any questions in more detail at that time.
Excellent, excellent. All right, very good. Well, if we want to return to the slides, we can. So I know that we have one more polling question for everybody, and that is, out of everything that we showed today, we'd love to get kind of your feedback. You can actually answer more than one. So we'd like to know, out of all the features that you saw, which are the ones that most interest you, or that you saw most value in. Was that the ability to create and customize your own reports and dashboards, the ability to schedule reports with automatic distribution? That's something that Ryan briefly touched on, but again, we have customers that are using, early adopters that are using WolfePak Intelligence, that have daily reports, weekly reports that they're able to schedule and basically show up in their inbox whenever they're ready to go. The new forecasting and analytics tools. So Ryan showed you the traditional WolfePak view trend report, and then we showed it with the actual forecasting algorithm that we're able to put on that data. The ability to share reports and dashboards via secure web portal, just the visibility and speed of the system, or something else. And give everybody just a few minutes to respond to that. Okay, so it looks like 80% was, so far, of the respondents, was the ability to create and customize reports. Second, 18% was the visibility and speed. 16% the ability to create customized dashboards. And then schedule reports was the next one at 15%, and new and forecasting analysis tools at 13%. So there you go. Okay. Well, with that, I think that brings us to our questions and answers. So I'm going to pull up the QA and see if we can't go through some of these questions. All right, so one common question is whether WolfePak Intelligence can be used, whether it's just available for WolfePak Anywhere, or whether it's available for WolfePak on-prem. And I can answer that one. So WolfePak Intelligence is available only for WolfePak Anywhere users. It's one of the reasons that we're migrating the WolfePak user base up to WolfePak Anywhere. It allows us to introduce new technologies and new products like WolfePak Intelligence. We have another major product that we're going to be coming out with at the end of this year, beginning of next year. Just to tease it a little bit, I don't want to talk too much about it, but I think the WolfePak user community is going to be pretty thrilled with it. It's a potential game changer when it comes to new WolfePak technology and WolfePak Anywhere allows us to modernize the WolfePak core product. So, so yes, it is available for WolfePak Anywhere customers. Ryan, another question, again, to kind of group them together. Had a question as to whether WolfePak Intelligence can report on LandPro data, whether we're planning to have it report on WellTrack's data. Perhaps you could answer that one.
Yeah, so the entire strategy on WolfePak Intelligence is to bring in all product lines of WolfePak into WolfePak Intelligence. Right now, it has WolfePak ERP data. We've already started working on WellTrack's data being brought in and LandPro. LandPro will need to come to WolfePak Anywhere. So there's a migration to WolfePak Anywhere for LandPro that we have, but LandPro will be available as well. But the ultimate, and then Docfeed will be connected into WolfePak Intelligence as well. So you'll be able to create cross product line reporting, and those will be coming out over the next couple of months.
Very good. Here's another one for you, Ryan. I'll let you, like I said, you're going to get all the hard ones. Will working interest owner rev bill reporting be added?
Yeah, so really that's about creating the report, right? So the first step that we had with WolfePak Intelligence was bringing in all of the data into WolfePak Intelligence, and then the second step is to create the report. What we've found is a really great way of making sure that we're creating the reports that the customers want is to interact with the customer on what exactly they want to see on the report and working with you to build that out. But as you saw, it's really fast to be able to do it. So the revenue billing data is a table in our database that is available in WolfePak Intelligence.
Very good. Okay, I have another question. I think this is a technical question I can answer. It said, what requirements for user computer/server equipment is required to obtain best results? So this is 100% a web application. So all of the heavy computing load is within the WolfePak Anywhere cloud. Again, one of the reasons that we're moving everyone to WolfePak Anywhere is it allows us to do things like this, and the infrastructure investment is on our side. So all you need is an internet connection and a web browser, and then of course a subscription to WolfePak Intelligence. Okay, got another one, Ryan. I'll throw this one to you. Once you create a report, is it in the reports menu for future use also?
So once you create a report, if you create a report like I did where I duplicated it or I created it from scratch, it's available to you as a user, and then you can share it out to the other users within your organization or not. So it is available for you specifically if you create a custom report. If professional services at WolfePak or my team has created a standard report, once we've completed that standard report, we share it out to all users on WolfePak Intelligence. So it really depends on who's created the report, whether it's you that you've done it for yourself and your company, or if it's been a request that's come in that all users could benefit from, then it would show up in the standard report sections.
Very good. Okay, got another one for you. Will any of this apply to Docfeed? I think this might be a variant of the question about WellTracks and LandPro.
Yeah, absolutely it will. So our initial goal was to get the flexibility for the ERP reporting out first, and then follow that up with bringing in the other product lines for the cross-product reporting. So eventually, really what the goal is to be able to do, a report like an accrual report. So, what's in workflow in Docview versus what's been booked in ERP, right? Things like that you'll be able to do by doing the cross product reporting.
So I have a series of questions here, Ryan. We'll plow through them, but they're a bit more on the deep, kind of some detailed questions on WPI. Like, for example, one of them is, can you limit those check stub numbers to 2 decimals?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, do you want me to show that or?
Yeah, I absolutely show it if you'd like.
Because that really comes back to the configurability of this. So that was on Checkstep. So this report here. So I'm going to take this report and I'm going to duplicate it. Sorry, are you seeing my screen okay? I just want to make sure.
Yep, I'm seeing it. Yep.
So when I come in here, this net value is going up to looks like 10 right now, right? So on the quantity, I'm going to change this and I'm going to say this, I really only want to see 4. Once I do that, I now see 4.
Okay, excellent. You could easily limit that to 2.
Yeah. And I also, at the same time, while I'm sharing, I saw one question about fixing the columns. So when you scroll on the dashboard, it's going to show you everything on the dashboard. When you actually look at the report, it will actually fix the columns as you scroll.
Awesome. Okay, I have another question from a longtime WolfePak user who will remain anonymous. Can you pull production dates into its own column in the GM or the GL report?
So the short answer is yes. So really, it's about adding that column in. So, sorry, which report was that? It's,
the GL report.
GL. So like ledger listing.
I was going to say, by the way, everybody that's watching, this is live, unscripted.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure which report. I'm not sure which report you want, but let me take that one and just show you. So I want the production date, and I want the production date to be in days. And this is a demo database, so I might not have any data in here, but oh yeah, I do have some. But so yeah, you can add any filter that you want. I think it's just because this is a demo database that's not coming in, but yeah, you can add any column that you want onto any report. If you have a column that does not exist in a report, so like I have my accounts, I have my sub accounts, I have my posted detail. If there's something that you want that's not in this list, all you do is you just let us know that, hey, I don't want to bring in, DOIs or something that's not on here. And then my team will just bring that in. It's called join it together, just in the database side of things and make it available. And that's something that's really not hard for us to do. And over the last 3 months with the beta customers, we've been doing a lot of that just to make sure that the fields are available for the types of reports that they're creating.
Okay. Here's a really good question. I'm sure it's a concern of longtime WolfePak users, and that is, does WolfePak Intelligence impact any of the built-in reports into WolfePak that they use today?
No. So all of the reports that are native in WolfePak ERP exist and will continue to exist. This is really about extending out the reach of reporting to our users and enable them to have another way of getting to reports. So all of the native functionality and the native reporting in WolfePak will continue to exist, and you can still use it. But if you want to customize it, or you want to change it, or maybe it's a report takes a while to create and you want to see if it's faster in WolfePak Intelligence to get the data, you could do both. Okay.
So a couple of questions in what I would call scope of coverage. So there was one person that asked whether this was going to cover payroll. There's another person that asked whether it was going to cover the WolfePak audit logs. So maybe you can kind of just talk to that. I'm sure there's probably some other questions out there with other objects that I'm not seeing, but perhaps you could just address that generally. Brian.
Yeah, I mean, my general answer on that is yes, it can for sure. What we focused on for launch was the most commonly used data and commonly used reports across our customer base. But for us to be able to bring in audit information or payroll information is absolutely possible. As we continuously, bring in more data and bring in more reporting, those will be available. And it's going to come down to, a request from a customer. Hey, I'd like to create this report. Can you help me do that? And we would absolutely be happy to do that.
Okay. So another question is, does WolfePak Intelligence replace the current WolfePak Analytics tool? And I can answer that one. So we will continue to support WolfePak Analytics, which is our integration in with Microsoft Excel. We expect that over time, WolfePak Analytics users will be migrating to WolfePak Intelligence, just because the whole reason that we built WolfePak Analytics was so that folks could build spreadsheets for reporting and analysis that you couldn't do within the native WolfePak ERP reporting system. Obviously, intelligence is a superset of that functionality. You should be able to recreate any of those spreadsheets within WolfePak Intelligence. So we expect that most analytics users will be migrating over to Intelligence, but we are going to continue to support the analytics product. It's just another more powerful tool to get to your WolfePak data and to turn that data into information that you can better use to better run your company. Okay, hang on, I'm reading through one. It's a little involved. I'll start this answer, Ryan, but I want you to chime in. So this is a question from a very experienced WolfePak user that's in the first purchaser market. And the question is, the first purchaser market is very competitive. We've created a lot of reports in Power BI, which, again, we understand a lot of our larger, more sophisticated customers have, to help give our marketers an edge in the market. What advantage do you see WPI giving us using Power BI? And are we guaranteed that the reports that they create, which they consider proprietary to their business, will not be shared amongst the other users? So I'm going to hit the second question, Ryan, and then I'm going to throw over the comparison question to you, although I can chime in on that one too. So on the second question, any report that you create within WolfePak Intelligence is private to your instance of WolfePak Intelligence. So it's not shared out with all the other WPI community. The only reports that you see within WPI are the common reports that we publish out to everyone. Of course, if you contract us to build a proprietary report for your environment, then it's that. It's a proprietary report in your environment, and we legally cannot share, nor would we, share it out with the rest of the users. It's kind of a bespoke work. Our hope is that we'll actually train you, and your staff will be developing those reports. And again, those reports are private to your environment. To me, on the Power BI question, and I'll throw this to Ryan as well, WolfePak Intelligence just isn't a BI tool. I mean, it is a BI tool, but it's much more than that. The key difference is the data warehouse or the data lake that we've created underneath the tool to abstract the WolfePak data from the WolfePak transaction database and to make it easy for you to go in and build these reports, and not only make it easy, but also it gives it superior performance to anything else that's out there. That's only going to increase as we eventually migrate the transaction database off of Advantage and onto SQL Server. Once that transition happens, which is going to happen sometime next year, then the efficiencies that we get or that you're going to see out of WolfePak Intelligence is going to far outpass what you can do on your own with Power BI. Brian, I don't know if there's anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, just to reiterate what you're saying mostly, I mean, the front end BI tool that you're seeing, there's lots of those out there. Power BI is one of them. But just having Power BI is like really about 10% of it. It's the database work in the background that is updating that is organizing the data in a way that is efficient for reporting, so you get the speed, is being updated, on a regular basis. It's all of the back end work of WPI that you don't see, that really makes it work quite a bit better than it would be if you just had Power BI connected to the transactional database of WolfePak ERP.
Okay, you ready for a detailed one?
Okay.
I don't know if I don't know if we're going to be able to show this, but maybe we can talk to it. We certainly can show it with a follow-up one-on-one demo if you would like. But the question is, and I think we should probably handle this as can you do it and how you would do it. But the question is, can you show how to build in customized metrics can you show how to build customized metrics into the net LOS, such as LOE/BOE, net dollars per barrel, etc. So I think what they're looking for is computed metrics within a report.
All right. Well, I can show you because this is actually doing it. So on any one of your values, you can create a formula on your value, right? So the average price here, for example, I am taking the amount for the accounts and I'm dividing it by the quantity. That's how I'm getting that value. So you can take any field, times it, multiply it, anything that you want within the values. I can use regular functions. I can take averages. I can just do straight math. I can filter it. Like in this case, I'm filtering it out and I'm saying, I don't want these two accounts because those are tax accounts in this case. So I don't want to use those values. So I'm filtering that out and then I'm dividing it by the quantity. And so any of those types of calculations, net dollars by barrel, all of that type of stuff, you can do on your own, or we can show you how to do it.
Very good. Another question. What do the titles on the top, Pulse and Report Manager, refer to? Will there be a hand manual that we may get when we convert, or I guess when they adopt?
Yeah, so our first step in getting customers live on WolfePak Intelligence is, getting you into WolfePak Anywhere. And if you're in there, then setting up WolfePak Intelligence for you. The first call that we have is a training call. So we'll walk you through everything and give you a training on how to use it. We do not currently have documentation, like a training material that you can refer to. But you can always call us and call our support until we can get that published. In terms of what Pulse and Report Manager is the ability to create the scheduled report and the output based on what you want. If you want the dashboard link or Excel, and who you want to send it to, and what the schedule is. So you'll see all of your different schedules on Report Manager when you set those up. And then the Pulse is the alert. Again, if I'll just really quickly go do this again. If you have a metric that's on a dashboard, that's what's called an indicator, I can add a pulse to it, which basically says, hey, if it's smaller, greater, some sort of a threshold, I want to email out to certain people that happened. And it's really an alert that makes you go and look at the dashboard to see what's going on.
Very good. There's a question here. I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure if I understand it, but I'll present it to you, Ryan. Maybe you'll be able to do something with it. It says, "Is there a drag and drop option in WPI?" I guess they're meaning the report designer. Perhaps they mean, is there a drag and drop option? I know in the designer there is, but I don't know about the viewer. I think is mainly filters based. But go ahead, show us.
Yeah, I mean, when you're creating, I mean, there's a search field, right, to search down what you're looking for. So as you type, it's actually going to filter everything by that. But in terms of drag and drop, I mean, I can change the order of everything just by dragging and dropping if I want to, that sort of thing in terms of the creation. But once you've created that report, and you're going out to a designer, you really just are looking at it. You don't want to drag and drop on this. Now you can sort and filter right on here, so I can sort it by certain aspects if I want to, things like that. But once you've created your dashboard, you're not going to be changing it unless you're designing it and applying it.
Very good. Okay, so last question. This one I'll take. There's several folks wanting to know, is this an add-on, and what the price is. So again, it is an add-on. It does require that you're in the WolfePak Anywhere environment. If you haven't upgraded to WolfePak Anywhere, would definitely encourage you to contact sales to get migrated up. The migration process to get into WolfePak Anywhere is extremely quick. We have had an incredible demand for WolfePak Anywhere upgrades. Hundreds of WolfePak customers are making the migration, so might be a little bit backlogged in terms of when we can actually get you up into the WolfePak Anywhere environment. But once you come up on the queue, it literally is a matter of transferring the data that you have on-prem, if you're currently running WolfePak within your environment, and then getting you the URL links, the web links, so that you can download the WolfePak Anywhere client. And again, WolfePak Anywhere, we have a couple of videos out there on it. It's just like running WolfePak in your on-prem environment, only you're running it within the WolfePak Anywhere cloud. And then as far as the cost, and again, these are people that would actually be using WolfePak Intelligence. Again, probably you're only going to have a couple of people in your environment that would be creating reports. That requires a designer subscription, which is $3,600 per year. And then for any folks that wanted to go into WolfePak Intelligence itself to view the reports in the native portal, that requires a viewer license at $2,400 per year. But of course, you can use WolfePak Intelligence to create PDFs and Excel and share those out, and that of course does not require a license for the people that consume those. All right, well, very good. Well, if we didn't get to your question, although I think we got to most of them, but if we didn't get to your question, please email them to sales@wolfepak.com. If you have any, or if you had a question that you didn't get posted during the session, we'd be happy to answer them there. We will be sending a summary of the Q&A whenever we send out a link to the recorded video. So you'll have a summary of all the questions that we covered, and we would love to hear from you if you have additional questions, and have that conversation. So with that, Ryan, I'd like to thank you for the demonstration and for your help with the Q&A today. We'd like to thank everyone for taking the better part of an hour out of their day for this special edition of WolfePak Wednesdays. And if you haven't, please go out to our YouTube channel. We're publishing around 2 new WolfePak Wednesdays a month. They cover a variety of topics. There's some of them that we are basically training episodes in which we go over a particular feature of WolfePak. Some of them are product-oriented. Some of them are industry topic-oriented. In fact, one of my favorite WolfePak Wednesdays is we work very closely with a computer security firm, and we had a legitimate computer security expert on and discussed ransomware and steps that you can take to protect your environment against cyber attacks. So it's out on YouTube. Just search WolfePak Software. You can subscribe and then click the little bell icon, and you can get updates every time we post a new WolfePak Wednesdays. But with that, we're going to wrap up this edition, and we hope to see you all back at the next WolfePak Wednesday. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.